having some pretty deep discussions here about some pretty wild topics that are going on. And we have a caller. Let's go over to our caller, and let's go over to Jim. Jim, welcome to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help with?
I've been listening to both of your hours today, and all sorts of things to be thought about and talked about today. And heck, I might even be able to give you a wrong answer to a tech tip quiz.
Oh, I love it. Fantastic. Which one you want to cover first?
Well, this is y'all's show. You tell me.
I would say I would love to hear your opinion on some of the topics that we had. For instance, do you think that as of right now, the charging is used mostly to get new customers to come in? For instance, there's in our area, there's a Steak and Shake. You have charging stations that are actually, from what I understand, many of these are subsidized by Tesla, so that they would have the infrastructure to have people, and of course that's located near an interstate, so your people's able to pull in, get charged up. Will there be a time to where instead of that being subsidized, it's not subsidized, and instead being monetized in a way to where a company can make money? For instance, you ride down the road and you see a sign and you can charge your vehicle for so much per hour or so much per minute, whatever it's set up for. And that's no doubt happening now, because I do know that there's charging stations in different areas of the country that are there for profit. What are your thoughts on that, James?
Saying that there's no such thing as a free lunch, there's no such thing as a free amp. So somebody now is paying for this, and the market forces will change as they always do. But right now, Teslas, for example, are not independent vehicles. They are natural gas or coal-burning vehicles for the most part. We have very, very little wind or solar energy, and when we do have it, it's only either when the sun's up or the wind is blowing. So that energy is provided by our continuous duty baseload energy production sources, which are typically natural gas or coal. So right now, I think municipalities who put them up in front of their municipal building, let's say, for example, I've seen that, or in a parking lot that's available to the public, I don't know who's paying for it. The municipality may be doing it. The municipality may be getting paid to do it by a car manufacturer like Tesla. So just as the international highway or the national highway system, the interstate highway system was funded by all taxpayers to support the development of automobile travel and truck travel, this subset of vehicle infrastructure will ultimately be something you've got to pay to get. But the challenge is going to be what you were talking about, two of you, about Buc-ee's before. Just think about a hotel, for example. Make it even more extreme. You check into the hotel, you plug your car in, you go upstairs, you go to bed. Your car is going to sit in that charging spot until the next morning. So unless and until the load of cars to measure up against the ports for charging balance out, you're going to need two buzzers, for example, when you go to Buc-ee's, for example. I'm going to presume they do this. When you want to get a table, they take your name, they give you one of those things that you put in your pocket. When your pocket starts vibrating, go get your table. You're going to have to get something like that for the charging station to tell you, hey, your car's done, move it so someone else can get in. And whether they go out and do it or not, it's hard to say. But the payment of it will change to where ultimately you got to pay to fuel your vehicle, whether it's gasoline or electricity.
Well, no doubt the buzzer will actually be your phone.
Absolutely.
Mean, you'll get an alarm, you'll look at it, and you'll say, yeah, I'm 40% now, I'm up to 60, and you'll have all that. I guess the big question is, will that have fluctuating price increases very similar to gasoline, and will that fluctuation in that pricing structure take away a lot of the incentive to be electric? Because some people say, well, you save a lot of money. Well, is there a chance that it's a little bit like that haircut that you get, that they got haircuts for $10 because this place just opened,
Right?
and then in a month, once it's been open for 2 or 3 months, and that same haircut is $25.
Right.
So
And you're not
that's
gonna
where the
know
question is.
what that charge. You're not going to know what the cost of that charge is, because the odds are there's not going to be a sign out in front of this store, that store, or this fuel station telling you how much it's going to cost. It'll be like they've done with parking meters in some of these towns. They don't even face the time remaining out towards the street, so you don't even know if you got time left on the meter. You'll pull in, you'll plug in, and you'll pay through your app on your phone, and it'll just be like tolls on the highway.
Yeah, it just kind of sucks it out of your bank account.
Right.
All right, great stuff,
also
Jim.
were talking-
Man, I appreciate that very much.
In the beginning, you were talking about the data collection and dissemination on the cars and the Tesla lawsuit for cameras, but bear in mind that these cars, once you own a vehicle that communicates back to the manufacturer, the vehicle's identification number is tied to you. That VIN is also given to your insurance company, and I can envision, if it's not already happening now, that your automobile insurance company will get into a cooperative effort with your car manufacturer where they can then measure you on where you go, dangerous places, let's say, how you drive, do you brake hard, do you steer hard, do you exceed the speed limit, and your insurance rates will, in a subliminal manner, either go up or down depending upon where you go, how long you stay there, and how you drive between points. I bet that's on the horizon if it's not.
If they hooked that up to my little car that I drive every day, I'd be in trouble. I wouldn't get insurance anymore, Joe.
You got an old car, Aaron. See, that's the thing. You want some things are best left off the grid. And your car might be one of them.
Right.
in that world, that aspect of things.
That's a good point. Very good point. It would be a little bit like my health insurance company wanting all the records from my Fitbit that I wear every day before they issue an insurance policy on me. Yeah. So yes, in a way that does happen.
But and some people would say, well, your phone can tell you how fast you're going and where you're going, but that doesn't mean that you had the phone or that you were driving or whatever.
Right.
But that car.
Hey Jim,
vehicle
we're
ID
gonna
number.
we're gonna pull over just for a second, and then when we pull back on the road, we'll be ready for more, and also for you to answer our tech tip quiz. We'll be right back. And even during the breaks, we're talking about cars. We were our producer Mason Rogers is thinking about getting another vehicle, and he's wondering between a Tacoma or a Ranger truck, and we were sitting here giving the benefits of one over the other.
We were arguing.
Yeah, we were. Hey, and I'll tell you, Ford makes a great truck now. There's no doubt about it. A lot of other great vehicles on the road
Right.
now. Okay, we were talking to Jim, and let's go over to Jim. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for letting me back in.
Well, we thank you for being here. Did you want to add anything to those topics that we were talking about before? Any of the other discussion topics? Because I know also you are going to be answering our tech tip quiz.
Well, maybe. But just a thought about domestic versus non-domestic manufacturers. It is true that I remember seeing for years now window stickers would say that this, for example, GM vehicles made with components from General Motors manufacturing assembly facilities worldwide. But one thing that is interesting is, and I wonder about this, is depending upon what company you buy the car from, the more production and assembly that's done in the country in which you reside is valuable, but also is the profit dollar from that vehicle remaining in this country, or does that go to another country?
Oh,
That's
good thought.
where a whole other aspect of it is. For example, I think Ford's profit goes and resides in the country versus a Toyota.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that ties a lot of things in, and I guess that kind of you're looking at the point that Taylor made as far as so many other vehicles are made in the U.S., It might be a BMW, Volvo, Kia, Hyundai.
Right.
All these are made in the U.S., but does that
they're
money
assembled.
remain?
Sure.
And how about the workers? Or how many of the workers are actually from the U.S.?
And if you look at a town like Greenville, who got the BMW plant in the early '90s, if you went to Greenville in the '80s and you go to Greenville now, it has completely transformed that town. It's transformed the whole population. It has transformed even the education system. And seeing like Greenville Technical College is just a crazy, huge, well-funded education machine because of BMW. And then not only that, you have suppliers. You may have suppliers that are making parts that are U.S. owned and U.S. made, supplying for that BMW. And so, the economy, it just booms whenever an automotive business. And this is why you're seeing up north, and people like Cat DeLorean, they're trying to kind of revitalize Detroit and stuff because all those factories have closed down because we've either offshored them or we've moved them down south to get kind of away from the unionization of the plants and things like that. And so this is why the South is so popular now for automotive manufacturing, is because we have a highly skilled workforce, and they found that they can find a cheaper employee versus in other parts of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of things tied to it.
Possibly
That's a
also-
great point,
It's complicated.
Jim. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we agree. The more U.S. content, U.S. labor, and storage of U.S. dollars, the better it is for the U.S. So let's
Yes,
hope for more of that.
Sure.
I agree. Yeah, and made in America does mean something to me. By the way,
Right.
I as a matter of fact, the conversation we were having. I don't mind telling you, I love Toyotas, and I drove a Prius for I don't know how many years. I love that car. It was a fantastic vehicle. But I love Fords also, mainly because they're a dependable car, and I like them, well built, but also they're made in America, and I love that. So yeah, it does mean something to me.
And a real quick question I have on the Chevrolet Volt caller you had before: doesn't that vehicle exhibit a unique economy within its body, in that it is a fully electric car, but the gasoline engine that's in it does not propel the vehicle; it recharges the battery system. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were talking about that
Right.
before. As soon as he hung up, I said, "Taylor, that vehicle does not work off a direct drive, does it?"
Right. It's a parallel hybrid, and you'll find some other parallel hybrids out there. The BMW i3 range extender and the BMW i8 both work the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically the engine's on board to turn the generator,
Mm-hmm.
and the generator then provides power to the electric motors that turn everything. So works different than like a Honda hybrid or
The
which
gas
is an IMA.
engine is not directly coupled to the wheels.
Right. And so and that's why you can drive that vehicle a pretty good ways before you actually have to start cranking the engine up to
Yeah, you
run
drive on
everything
EV
else.
in the beginning. When it gets down to a certain point, then the gas kicks in to charge up the system.
Right, and they really are closer to a full EV than say like a Toyota or a Honda type hybrid system, because basically if you took the engine out of that vehicle, you could actually run it as an electric vehicle. You just have to keep it charged up pretty. The battery pack is not large enough to be competitive with a Tesla or a Mustang
Yeah, it was
Mach-E or something like
last
that.
time I remember, it was at one time it was under 100 miles that it would run EV,
Right.
and then the gas engine.
But 100
would
miles
come, but-
is a lot for like me. That would work for me.
yeah.
Because I only live
Well, and
10
that's
miles
a
away
lot
from work.
And that's a lot for back when that car was being made. So that
Absolutely.
vehicle has that feature that if you forgot to plug your car in, or you don't have time to stop and recharge the car and wait, like your friend did, Aaron, coming to Atlanta, up to Nashville from Atlanta, it just sort of takes care of it, I guess, seamlessly and keeps you going. You just got to keep that little gas tank
Yes.
filled.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, so it helps with range anxiety for sure, having the hybrid component, and I really believe Toyota is still focusing on hybrids, and I think that's really the smart way right now. Is we need a few years of people getting in hybrids are the gateway drug to full EV. My next car will probably be a full EV, and I'm in a hybrid now. So, the way that the cars are built now, I think we really need to take some time to explore the hybrid side of things before we go full-fledged EV.
Well, I think the consumer should make that
Absolutely.
determination. Is a EV right for me? Is a hybrid right for me? Is a gas engine right for me? But I think all should be available.
Yeah, nothing should be
I
mandated.
I personally think
right?
there's a lot that still can be brought out of an ICE engine. I think there's more that they can get. I mean, you got some that's 40, 45, 50 miles per gallon now. And I believe that can even be more so in the years to come if it's given the right amount of technology and research and development to make it happen.
And the range on those vehicles is tremendous. And the CO2 break-even point on a electric car that has a 400-mile range, I think I watched somewhere an analysis, it's almost in the 200,000-mile break-even point on CO2 consumption of a gas car compared to the consumption CO2 imprint of a production of a fully electric vehicle. So, and again, even with an EV, so long as you're comfortable knowing that you're really powering your car with coal or natural gas, unless you have your own private wind or solar plant at your residence or business.
And some people do, yeah.
You're one out of however many electric car owners. We're talking minute numbers. So the symbolism of it greater than the substance of it for the foreseeable future.